Today's topic, window screens in the IRS. Hi, I'm Doug Holt with author of Your Own Story, and this is your Daily Growth Hack, where each day we bring you a tip, trick, or insight to help you up-level what we call the 5 to thrive. That's mind, body, soul, relationships, and business. So I got a message from somebody in our Author of Your Own Story group, and they said, Doug, I have to talk to you. I have a story, something happened to me. And so when I reached out to them and follow up, I got to hear what their voice had to say. And what they told me was, about 10 years ago, all the window screens in their house had totally been gone. So in other words, they've been damaged over time, ripped out, or what have you. So for the past decade, they've been without window screens in their home. Now, this has caused all kinds of problems. They've had dirt coming in. They've had tons of bugs for over a decade. Now, this man has raised 2 beautiful children, and still, bugs, everything coming in, just keeping his house dirty. Now, the reason he hadn't fixed it is his ex-wife's mother had told him, you know what, that's going to cost you upwards of $1,200 to fix those. You know, at the time, he didn't have the money, or as he really related once our conversation got going, he just didn't choose to invest the money. You know, he went out, he had a good time, and he could have paid that $1,200, but the thought of a $1,200 expense to fix screens prevented him from taking any action. So finally, his new woman, who's an amazing woman, told him, hey, look, you got to get this fixed. And so he finally picked up the phone and called the window repair place and said, hey, look, what's it going to cost? Give me an estimate. What's it going to cost to get my screens? You know, this is 10 years ago. He's thinking $1,200. So what's it going to be now? $1,500, maybe even more? Well, they came out and they gave him an estimate. And it was $200 to put screens in his entire home. Solving this problem. See, he told a story. He took a story that somebody else gave him. Somebody else told him it was going to cost $1,200 or more, and he stuck with that. That prevented him from taking action. Now, what does this have to do with the IRS? Well, back probably maybe almost 20 years ago, I remember sitting in a seminar. The seminar was on integrity. Now, the seminar was talking about being in integrity and not lying. Well, they gave us a task of picking one area of our life where we were out of integrity and then following through and taking a major step to get back into that. The next day, I remember a man raising his hand to talk to everybody. And what he said was really profound, something that stuck with me today. He said he has been hiding from the IRS for 15 years. He's been living under a false name. He's cut off contact with most of his family. Although he was somewhat successful, he had actually just was working on a cash basis. He had been hiding from the IRS because he believed he owed him over $250,000. Well, this seminar was really good, and it really hit him too. So the idea of integrity, he finally decided, you know what, I'm going to do something about this. He picked up the phone and called the IRS. Said what his name was and said, you know what, I owe you money. And they said, hold on, sir. And when the woman got back on the phone with him, she said, no, sir, actually, you're wrong. We owe you money. And see, what he told us was this whole weight just lifted off of him. He had some medical conditions that instantly cleared up. He had created a story that he never followed through to find out the truth of. He created a story that he owed this money and it just weighed him down. It made him change the whole path of his life. And here with one simple action, one simple great step of making a phone call to get clarity around an issue, totally changed his way of being. Now, this is the same with the man with the screen or the guy with the IRS, but this is also the same with all of us. So what I invite you to do is look at your 5 to thrive. Look at your holistic life, your mind, your body, your soul, your relationships, and your business. Where do you have a story around something that you haven't verified? You know I do this all the time, and that's why I constantly list my 5 to thrive, and I come up with statements that I believe are true and ask myself, do I know for sure that's true, and why? Now, sometimes when I write this out, what I will find is that this is a story that I've heard from time, or maybe I grew up just thinking this. You know, I've heard from my parents, who knows? Oftentimes, it's just a matter of making one phone call for clarity or to clear up a message. Maybe it's a relationship that got damaged or something was said or you thought something might have been said or something might have been, somebody might have done an action that you interpreted one way. By making that one phone call to clean it up, you can repair relationships and get clarity around an issue. So I'm going to ask you today, take out your journal Write down your 5 to thrive and ask yourself, in which of each of these areas do you have a story that's not complete fact, or you don't know all the facts that you can get cleaned up and get clarity around. I think you're going to see this really lifting yourself and really taking weight off your shoulders so you can move forward. Don't be the guy who waits 10 years to put screens on his windows so his family feels good and the bugs are out, or the guy that thinks he owes money to the IRS so he's hiding out for 15 years, losing those 15 years of vibrancy in his life, only to find out that they owe him money. Be the author of your own story, and part of that calls for getting clarity around your life. That's it for me today. Go over to authorofyourownstory.com, where we have a free 7-day course to get you jump-started in becoming the author of your own story. And stay tuned, because we have Author of Your Own Story University kicking off September 1st. I hope to see you there. I hope you enjoyed today's Daily Growth Hacks. Please put your comments right down below, and remember to click subscribe. This way we can ensure that we're delivering these Daily Growth Hacks right to you each and every day. On behalf of the whole team here, remember, go out and be the author of your own story.